Hi, everybody. Welcome again to Ranger Games. We're glad that you are here to join us with our other two co-hosts. Say your names.
Say your name, Jim. Joel, sorry.
So, before we get started, this is the Jim that doesn't talk. So, we're going to have... So, producer, whenever you have your camera on Jim, just have crickets until he talks. And then he'll talk. And then
we don't got crickets yet.
Shoot! Okay, anyways, we're glad you're here.
Bang.
This show is for you if you are a veteran, if you have a family member and a loved one who's a veteran, if you are best friends with a veteran, if you are a veteran yourself, or you are in the military and eventually you will have that come to a close.
Also, if you've ever thanked a veteran, that's a good place to be,
and if you've ever thanked a veteran.
Yeah, it's a good place to watch.
Or have a veterans memorial in town.
Or have a veterans memorial in town.
You know, or walk near a veteran, you can watch a show.
Hey guys, really fast, actually, we were just talking before the show started about visiting some of the memorials. Jim, how many memorials have you visited, and where have you gone that, in terms of, what were the most impactful visits to memorials?
Let's see, Arlington National, Willamette National. My father-in-law's buried down in Riverside National Cemetery in Riverside, California. Probably pretty much every national cemetery. We took a long trip last year across country, and my wife and I, Terry, we visited quite a few VFW, American Legion, post memorials that were across the country, and it was like so awesome driving across the country and seeing how middle America, except for the left coast, right coast, you know, because I'm from the right coast, you're from the right coast, you're from the left coast, so seeing everything all in between, and it was ones that are smaller than here in Estacada.
West Coast, not left coast.
I was just getting ready to say that. I'm like, he's from the left coast and we're from the right coast. We are from the right coast, though.
Yeah.
Right coast with all
That coast is causing problems right now. But we're not going to get into that.
But quite a few to answer your question.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and then being on the cemetery board here in Estacada,
absolutely,
having 9 cemeteries and over 225 interred veterans dating back to the Civil War here in Estacada.
Yeah.
So quite a few places.
Quite a few
that we've traveled to. Yes. It's always been an honor to visit all those memorials, cemeteries.
Would you recommend that to other veterans?
Absolutely. Any chance you get. If you stop somewhere and get dinner, there's probably going to be American Legion or VFW post in that town, and it'll probably have a memorial for sure.
Co-host Joel.
I've been to a few, helped create a few. That's about it.
Oh, change hats here.
Right. Well, I know that's not the topic you guys want to discuss, but it was a good segue because we were talking about that.
Yeah, definitely. But, I mean, like I said, I've helped create a few from being in Afghanistan and stuff, but, been to a few, but I mean, we have local ones, and there's been ones around the area. I haven't done anything like big like Arlington or even when I was in Hawaii, I didn't get a chance to go visit that or anything. But
right. Do you want to ever visit Pearl Harbor? We were talking about that.
Oh, probably if I get a chance. I'm traveling, so it's usually pretty busy. Don't get to travel much.
That's true.
Vacation is like 10 minutes without a phone call.
And for the record, we do have a Estacada veteran listed on the punch bowl in Hawaii.
Really?
Nice.
Yes.
Wow.
Captain Raymond Heipel, that was a Korean War veteran. Yeah, he's listed there in Hawaii. Same family.
Yeah, we have a street named Hypo.
There's a street named Hypo?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a street named Hypo right here in town.
Yep.
So,
was it named after?
Same family, I think.
Yeah, same family.
Wow. Nice. Wow.
So, but what's on our subject tonight here is actually much different than that.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about military vehicles.
Run.
Yeah, there's a lot of laws out there. I think we actually got a video to kick us off right now. Right from the beginning, I think it's a video too.
Watch this.
Or not. He's working on it. That's an issue. No, don't worry about it. We'll come back to the video. We'll come there after the commercial here. So try video 1. Maybe we'll go lucky there. Ah, there we go.
Oh,
Dun, dun, dun.
And I know it's making sound for them, but we can't hear it because I didn't turn it on in the thing probably. So this is the new Commando Elite. It is it's basically a new way for the people. I don't know the big pumping and stock is. It's not everything in the code.
What year?
I got test that.
Does it have a specific year?
This is real good.
Oh, wow.
So Textron system makes it. So
nice.
yeah. So cool. And I'm sure you enjoyed some music with that because we didn't have it in our ears.
2016.
2016, so that's...
Yeah,
That's pretty new.
There's
Yeah.
a system that was on top of that, and what it is you're sitting inside, and it has a screen, and there's a camera. If you saw on the bottom of the below the weapon,
Right.
that actually you could zoom out like over like a mile, and you can aim like a 50 cal sniper rifle at that area and take shots at it. And I remember testing it on the range. We were shooting at stuff on the side of a mountain that was over a mile away. And then it was real fun when we got the Modus up there. We were not just the sniper rifle, but
Right.
you can shoot. It's the automatic 50 cal, which spraying it like crazy.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
A lot of firepower.
Yeah.
yes,
I like
Oh,
it.
yeah.
but you basically just doing it with a joystick.
That's cool.
With
Yeah.
a joystick, you just able to...
Yeah, literally with a joystick.
That's
Like
all
playing the video game.
21st century.
You know
Yeah,
it
we
is.
were testing all that. We couldn't talk about it at the time, but it's,
Right,
it's
of course.
public now.
We didn't leave any of them in Afghanistan, did we?
I'm sure we did.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Let's not talk about that.
No.
Hey, let's read the first picture.
Another episode.
Gonna drive me crazy. Yep. No pun intended.
See the first picture we got up here. Second picture. Oh no, it did it again. Oops, it did it again. Just shut.
Oh.
You have to turn them all off one by one when it happens like that.
What is
This is
that
the main
one?
battle tank
Oh.
the U.S. Army
Yes,
has.
this is yours. So you get to talk about this
No,
one.
this is the new one.
Yeah, but
I was second generation.
Yeah, but you were a tank driver, so you could talk a little bit about the tanks.
Well, can you see the driver?
No.
I'm assuming it's not the guy sitting up top.
Well, it's right below the main gun, and if you look straight down where the laser sighting is, you can see just a small little hatch. And back when I was closer to 200 pounds, when we were training these, you sit like that, and it was one of the most uncomfortable positions I've ever been in. Oh, that's
Wow.
better.
Is that the same thing?
Oh,
yeah.
that's a different one. That's
What is that one?
Go back real quick. I want to talk about a few things on the other one.
That's awesome.
You just got to click the second picture again.
That looks like a Humvee with the windows, but it's not.
Yeah, this one is actually called I think it's not Comanche, but it's like
No, but I mean, see the drivers.
well, see those windows on the right hand side. It's actually a window. That's just a bulletproof window. It's this thick.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah, and it weighs a lot. So and then you can see the ammo.
Give
cans
us
on the
ammo cans on the side.
diameter of thickness. How?
Oh.
It's it's thick.
Like
It's gonna stop a
Yeah.
7.62 round.
Yeah,
It won't stop an RPG, but it'll stop a 7.62 round.
wow.
What's interesting is that a 3-seater in the front there? Let's see if
I
third person
see
is.
someone in the middle, but in the back seat.
Yeah, what I like about it
Is
is
it the gunner in the at the top? He's sitting down in the vehicle, right?
I don't know if that's even sitting down because they have the that system up top. It means there's no gunner to it. The gunner's inside.
Oh,
The gunner doesn't get up. That's an automated system with that.
Love
I was
it.
telling you with the camera. No, that's actually the Modus up there. So, but the and actually no, that's a 240, isn't it?
So I'm going to ask you.
and they got the
240.
cans up top on either side too. Boy, that's beautiful.
Yeah, so you probably can pop up and do it.
Oh, I was going to say. Let me ask you about the tires. I noticed the tires are almost bicycle thin tires in some ways. Is there a reason for that?
Try it again. During our commercial, I'll fix it for you, Brandon. So
Is there a reason for that? The bicycle-sized tires, they're just really thin. Is that a desert terrain thing?
I think the tires are thicker than you think they are.
Yeah.
Okay, just looks.
Yeah, maybe
That's just the
okay,
downside of
there.
it.
Okay.
So she's trying. I'll help with you in a minute here, honey. We're gonna go to commercial in a minute anyway. So
Yeah. So, anything else you want to say about that?
Yes.
yes.
The first generation of that, you guys saw how sleek it was.
Uh-huh.
If you put the tank picture back up, if you can, Brandy, no, not a big deal. But if that was next to the tank I was in, which was an M60, it was extremely high, and it was 56 tons.
Mm-hmm.
And it
So
was
yours was
extremely high silhouette.
Yeah.
So like, here I am, how you guys doing? The M1 Abrams came all the way down here.
Yeah.
And we shoot from a defilade position. So we'd have a hill right here, and we'd practice, and we'd come up, put the main barrel, which for an M1 Abrams is 120 millimeter.
Mm-hmm.
My tank was 105. Boom, and then come back down. Where'd that come from? It's a great thing about a tank. It reaches out and touches you pretty good.
We try to touch it from a mile and a half, 2 miles.
Right,
away.
and it's the M60s. I think were in the first Yom Kippur wars.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they were built in the late 50s and utilized in the 60s. And then when I got them in the late 80s,
Yeah.
we used them all the way up until the National Guards actually got rid of them in the 90s. So when we were at Fort Knox, we were training with the M60s and the M1s. And an M1 tank weighs 72 tons.
72 tons.
And the one that you just saw, and then the one I was in was only 56. I want to be in the Abrams tank. I mean, all the things that they've gone through, the research with armor and all the specialties, and the bullets are better. I mean, the bullets are this big, Tony. I mean, that was like one of the greatest things ever, is just learning or just repetition. It's not in the M9, you put the magazine in, pull the slide back, engage your target. Or you put it in the M16 rifle, engage your target. Mm-hmm. You take the heat round, which is about 4.5, 5 feet long, right? Which will hit a small, what was up there before, a small vehicle, or a deuce and a half, or a 5-ton truck.
Yeah, basically like it usually go for like in that case we're not firing its own vehicle, so
Right.
Humvee size.
Yes.
And so you would take that and you'd be on the left side of the main gun. And then you'd have 2 soldiers on the right side, the gunner and the tank commander. Mm-hmm. Down in the front was the driver. We had to learn all jobs.
So you can kind of be, what is it called? A convergent? No, divergent. You can be able to move
Right.
to each.
So when you take
sector.
the big round
Yeah.
and throw it in there, and you push it as hard as you can, it comes right up and says, "You're good." And then you just turn around, and it comes all the way back to about right here. So you can't put your hand behind the main gun. So you have 2 soldiers where Joel is. I'm here sitting on the island by myself, and he's saying, "Okay, other than the round." And after that one, okay, we just keep going. Yeah. This is my area over here. That's it.
Yeah.
And it was a very comfortable atmosphere after no time.
Wow.
Whether you're driving to drive up, boom, come back down, hit the button, out to the target, laser, 1,000 meters, boom. I mean, it was just, and then the tanks that we have now, that's why they're the best army in the world. I mean, hands down.
Tactics and technology.
Yeah,
Tactics,
absolutely.
Tactics and technology.
I mean, the stories about the Persian Gulf, they'd throw some rounds at us, Tony. Boom. Bounce right off our tanks. Because of the armor that we had on those Abrams, first generation Abrams. It's just phenomenal.
I think the only thing we really had a hard time fighting was some Russian tanks a little bit, but it was definitely the German tanks, the Tiger tank area.
Right.
That one did some damage.
They had the T-72s, Tony, and that's another thing that they teach us. It's called nomenclature. How to spot a Humvee, or what's a Russian Hind or a Hip helicopter.
Yeah.
So if we don't see a friendly, then
Yeah.
you get ready for it. But
We actually have something you can support that, but let's go to commercial quick.
absolutely, go to commercial.
And then I'll get that fixed and we'll be able to bring up the pictures.
Absolutely. Well, Whitney Signs is a place, if you're local, you can get all your signs made. They do quality work. They go above and beyond to make sure that your business, your vehicle, you name it, whatever it is, it looks good. Those are the things that people will see first to represent what you're about. So you want to look at Whitney Signs, I should say, as a place to go when you want your business promoted. Watch this. Welcome back to Ranger Games. Hey guys, one thing I know about military and the armed forces is that they are resilient, and they go with the punches. They roll with the punches, but they always come through for us. Things don't always go as planned, but they have a plan in the unplanned. So what I say by that is you might receive some technical difficulties over our screen, but we're getting those ironed out so that you too can be a part of this. Do remember, by the way, if you're viewing with us, that you can participate. Our producer will whisper in our ear or maybe read your question out loud. So don't let whatever's happening on your screen deter you from continuing to watch. Right, Jim?
Absolutely.
Awesome. So you were just talking about vehicles.
Yes.
And welcome back, my brother. So he
Didn't know I was gone.
He didn't know that we were gone, but that's okay. You know what? You were just sleeping while I was talking. That's what everybody does. So you were going to talk about your next vehicle, right?
Yeah. So let's take a shot. I think I fixed everything, but no time like the present to test it.
No problem.
Of course.
Hey, that keeps on coming up. Just really fast so you can know what that is.
It's our buttons.
988. 988 is what you want to call if you're a veteran who's experiencing PTSD.
Yeah, just turn them off one at a time. What it is a problem with the buttons I need to fix, apparently.
Yeah, no worries.
I know exactly what the problem is now.
It's such a nice vehicle, though.
Yeah, it is.
So,
Yeah, Tony, if you take a look at the tires there,
Okay.
it's actually much
they
bigger
might
than
look
that.
thin, but the amount of hours that they do in the research division.
They're not as thin as you think they are. If you look comparison the size to the person's head and stuff like that.
Oh, really? They
They're
just
much
look
thicker,
at.
yeah.
Okay.
I think they just look that thin, but I
But
mean,
if you notice the way that the hull is there, it's a V hull style. Means that if an explosion comes underneath, it pushes it out.
Right.
So, what's the next one we got there? You can shut that one down, if it will work. Oh my goodness.
oh, it worked.
Oh.
That's okay.
Try going to a completely different picture and see what happens. Like go to like 4 or 5 or something. No, what's happening is the button on there.
okay.
It's not targeted to the picture, and so it's turning everything on.
Okay.
Got you. Yeah,
And it's not going to turn that one off there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what we're going to do, we'll have to talk a little bit about it, and then now I know what the problem is. Brandy, if you look at the buttons, it's not targeting the individual picture, so I'll have to fix it for afterward. Anyway, so but on there I actually had a bunch of brand new ones, and the biggest thing is it's like MRAPs. There's different versions of them. They have like I call it the pickup truck version, which is basically it's like think of like my truck has like 2 seats in the couple seats in the back and a couple seats up front.
The Ford, you mean?
Yeah, the Ford.
Okay.
The driver, passenger, and then the seat in the back, the Ford. But the MRAPs, they actually have ones like that, but it has a bed of the truck area too. It has the V-hull and everything else on it. Then they have the other ones that looks like a bus or the van version, where you actually have a passenger and a TC. I mean, the driver and a TC, which a TC is like the passenger in the up front.
Right.
And then you have bench seating in the back. And then you have altered versions of that, where you may have a bench on one side, and then you have maybe a short bench, and then you have a seat where that system is that you would up top you would have the automated, basically
camera,
it's a
full-
turret you can
yeah.
shoot. And then there's a hatch in the top and things like that, so you can right up on there. Then they have kind of like the commando version, which is basically it's like an oversized Humvee,
That's cool.
which is kind of like you saw there.
That
You saw the
was-
commando from earlier from that video.
Right.
They have a lot of different versions of these, and I really wish you could see the pictures, but I'm going to try again to fix it afterwards so we can catch the pictures up later.
Okay.
But the silhouetting I was talking about earlier,
Yeah.
I actually pulled up a picture, and I would like everybody to see. It actually had all the different major images, like everywhere from there's different tanks and
Right.
trucks and ambulances and everything, and you can kind of see the different look to them, and so you get an idea to see what was what.
Right.
Over there in Afghanistan, we didn't really have to worry about that too much because we had MRAPs.
Right.
They had, well, usually it's like a Toyota or something like that, or something that was on 4 legs.
Right. Exactly.
So, Joel, what is
A lot of motorcycles.
Motorcycles.
explain the silhouetting to a person like me?
Well, the best way to do it is think of like a shadow. It has a shape to it.
Well, yeah, and that would be a
it's not-
silhouette. But what are you talking about when you say that?
So
in
when
context?
you're looking at a vehicle from a long ways away, you can kind of make the shape out, but you can't make the details out.
That's the training.
Got
You
you.
See what a
recognize the
helicopter
look and
looks
see-
like, and then you get to see the gas tanks or the side.
Do
of
they
it.
help you with combat? How does the silhouetting play into the big picture?
It would definitely help if you're fighting against another
country?
the enemy has the ability has things like that. So like when we had to go back one day to Afghanistan to fix the problem, and we're going to be fighting against our own equipment, it's going to help. Of course, it's not going to help at all because this going to be the same equipment. But knowing the older stuff versus the newer stuff will help.
Yeah, that would definitely help.
But yeah, it's like being able to tell a Russian tank from an American
That's
tank.
what I was wondering.
Right.
That's okay.
And-
All right.
and-
All
and
right.
That's part of the training.
Yeah. Like
Gotcha.
in Germany, be able to tell a German tank from something else helped, so you weren't right on top of each other when you could do it, when you went to shoot at each other.
Right.
Yeah.
Same with like a German vehicle and, German uniform. Like if you're not in a tank, you're likely to be looking more like at the either weapons or like their uniforms and things like
But
that.
it's another identifier.
Right.
Yeah, it's another way to
Gotcha.
identify somebody.
Okay, that's an interesting way of doing
So,
that.
yeah, like, oh, look, I recognize that type of K-pod, which is a helmet.
Yeah.
I recognize that's not an American one. That's that's German or whatever.
Definitely.
It helps you understand and identify a troop before they're close enough to see you or shoot at you and things.
Right.
Oh, there you go.
Is that
Nice job.
There it
Nice
is.
job.
Thank you, Brandy.
Oh, that's the silhouetting.
But do
Yeah,
you see how some of them are high?
yeah, and the
some of
different
them are
shapes
low?
and things
Yeah.
like
See
that.
the size of a common transport vehicle? Under that, it says Humvee.
Yep.
And then go up to a smaller, say the AAV, where it says amphibious assault
Shooting
vehicles,
forward.
which would be Marine Corps.
Yep.
Hitting a beach. Boom.
See that thing under it says transport vehicles and it says the Humvee, and then the IFAB. The
IFAB.
IFAB is actually what all the I'd say the Afghani National Army and
Right.
and their police and stuff. They all drove those around. And I'm like, man,
They're
you got
all different colors.
no. Usually they're an ugly
They
like
were?
tan color or something like
Okay.
that. But the thing is that it's funny because and they had a few different colors too, but I think that usually they have a logo paint on the side. But it was funny because you're thinking we're all behind like armored vehicles and things like that. And they're out there in basically a pickup truck with a rifle mounted in the back.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, this guy's got some
Got
guts.
a lot of protection there.
Yeah. So and then you got the M1 which is basically oh yes, sorry. Top right, second one down.
Light armored
M1128.
vehicles. Second one down.
Okay. That
M128.
basically is a.
Okay.
Thank you, producer. By the way, I didn't think about it. That thing is kind of like a what do you call that? Shoots rounds closer to a artillery.
Okay.
And then I think that isn't it a Paladin? It's an anti. It's basically mobile artillery, but it's used for anti-tank, isn't it?
Probably.
I think that's the anti-tank.
Is that the 155? Because I'm struggling to see the
Oh yeah, it's
the
the
front.
it's
See, 'cause I'm looking at the Abrams and I'm
It's the
looking at the
M109A6. I think that is the
I mean, the
155,
Paladin
but-
is the one 5.5 for sure.
Yeah, that's a Paladin.
Yeah.
But I think the other one is a 105.
105, like the M60s. Okay.
Yeah, and up above it, the Lab 25, I think, sports a 25 millimeter cannon on it. The Bradley, I think, isn't the Bradley 25 millimeter also?
The M2, yes.
Um,
Do you see the bottom one, Tony, where it says self-propelled howitzers?
On
And it says
the left.
the middle column
there it goes.
at the bottom.
Howitzer.
Uh-huh.
It says
Okay.
Paladin.
Paladin.
That's what Joel was talking about.
Is that the picture that showed up earlier, you guys?
No, that's something different.
Okay.
There's so many different things to do. You
get that
can't
right.
really, and I never got a chance to see it when I was there, but I always wanted to see the M270, the MLRS fire. I always wanted to see it fire, but I never got a chance. So I've seen the
Multiple
Striker.
Rocket launcher.
Multiple rocket launcher.
Yeah, we actually had a Striker that was parked next to our base, but it wasn't ours. It was actually, I think it was the UK's. I think it's their people had it.
They have some good
They rolled
equipment.
some Strikers, yeah.
They have some great tanks too, the Chieftains, and they have some
There's the
really
M1
good
Abrams
tanks.
up there.
Yeah.
So you're talking about.
Oh, wow.
And I mean the land navigation courses with the 113.
Well, they actually, and I've been into 113, by the way.
Yeah.
That's actually what they do for the, if you have a tracked vehicle, that's what the ambulance was made out of.
Right.
But they actually have a new version of that they came out with recently.
Really?
Yeah, I think it's actually a wheeled vehicle.
And Tony, just so you can understand the difference between, like, see, the LAV 25 or the Patriot or the Humvee, that they all have tires or wheels.
Right.
When you see an M1 Abrams or an M60 or the 113 or the AAV 71 in the middle, those are track vehicles.
Track vehicles.
Now, or a Bradley. So when we would be constantly cleaning them, lesson number one was you don't get all the stuff off of it. You just make it clean. Because if you take all of the lubricant off, it's not going to work.
Exactly.
Right.
It has to be
You get the chunks in the
dirty
mud, the big
to a
rocks that
point.
way.
It's just like a rifle or a pistol. It has to have some type of lubricant on it.
Right.
And we did a lot of taking the track off, or I should say, put it back on. Let's say, okay, this track is broken, what are you going to do? And everyone has to get out and scramble, and you have to simulate that you're getting fired upon, and things like that. So you can't do it like you're in the motor pool where nothing's going on.
Right.
You have to do it in a situation right. Because what are you going to do when you're in a tank and your track is off? You're dead.
They let me drive the Bradley once.
God.
That was dangerous.
They regretted it because.
Did you have people in the back?
Yeah, we had a bunch of us in there. We had the actual people that were responsible for it. And as before we deployed to Afghanistan, we were getting rid of the tracked vehicles because it was a mechanized unit before, and then we went to a cav unit after that.
Nice.
Technically, it's still mechanized because it was different vehicles. But I remember driving it, and that, by the way, unlike a wheeled vehicle where you might have shocks or at least some air in the tires, you don't get that inside of a.
Good Lord, Randy! There we go.
There's more silhouetting right there.
Ooh.
But with the Bradley, when you go over a bump and you slam down, you feel it all the way through. And those padding, the padding on the seats does not exist.
I was going to say there's padding on the seats.
I was like the padding. Imagine like a thin phone book as your padding.
Hey, real quick, as a producer, just so everybody knows that's watching, we'll post this picture later because it's very, very small and hard to see on the video.
That's fantastic.
Yes.
I pulled it up online. So.
Look, it's even got Tony over here on the right in the middle. This is what the combat engineers would do if we had to negotiate a river quickly. Look what they're doing.
The mobile bridge.
Track vehicle. Bridge opens. Goes over the bridge. Everybody get across the bridge.
Wow.
Isn't that cool?
Yes.
Yeah, they have a couple of those there. If you notice, left-hand side, about 3/4 of the way down, the third row up, basically.
The medic.
I was going to say. That thing is the RV of the Army. Like, seriously, like, it has, in the back of it, it's a think of like a big camper, right? The open camper. It's got its storage and its medical areas, but it's designed to be able to take up to, technically you could do 5 if you had to, litters in there. And what it is you got 2 on the side, you got 2 up top, and then you got 1 you could put in the center if you need to. However, if you're 2 medics working out there and you're in the field, you don't have to pitch no hooch or anything else. You just roll in the back of your thing.
Yep.
You lay down the litters. You throw your gear on the bottom, clear up top, and you got yourself a nice air conditioned, by the way, air conditioned ambulance.
And we'll talk about that in the future, Tony.
Yeah.
Putting the meal on the back of the engine
There you go.
on the tank.
There you go.
On
There
the
you
tank.
For another show.
go. This is for you. I got this for you.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, this was for you.
Yeah, that's what's that say? Aries on one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
They're all named if you look at them all there.
Man.
So I figured
Beautiful.
you might have an idea what that is. I didn't really know what it is. I just saw a bunch of them like, ooh, you
Those
might
are
appreciate that.
fantastic.
You notice that it's at a shipping yard.
Yeah, it is. I can see everything in the back there,
Yeah.
along with the engineering vehicles,
I
the
noticed, by
construction
the way, that you
equipment.
fixed the pictures.
That's
So,
awesome.
Kudos.
That's awesome. Yes.
That will reach out and touch someone, Tony. Where'd that come from? As they're disintegrating.
Yeah, exactly. You won't have time to think about it.
No.
No,
Not all of them, just some of the pictures.
just
Okay. Yeah, we'll
Still-
fix the buttons
it's still-
after
yeah,
we're
no,
done here.
good
so.
job, producer. So I noticed they must be in a holding position because you have the caps over the
Yeah,
spout,
it's a
if you will. I don't know what
shipping
you would call that. The barrel.
Yeah. It's
the
got the barrel cap on it, but it's the shipping up there.
Oh, there it is.
Humvees.
Ready to
Bunch of
go.
Humvees there.
Oh,
Rock and roll.
If you
yes.
notice, these are some of the newer ones.
Yes.
That thing up top there, that's the nest. That thing is so heavy you cannot really move it by yourself unless you're putting a lot of effort into it. The last thing you want to do when you're trying to shoot is have to turn this gigantically heavy armor. So what they do is they actually have a joystick thing up there, so it'll rotate with you as you're doing it.
So it's a joystick.
Joystick, and it's a joystick for rotating.
vehicle.
On the top up there.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
yeah, and so when you're sitting up there, you're in the crow's nest. You're with usually a 240 or you use a software, but like a 240. You might have the mod system up there, or whatever. You could have the
Vulcan.
the Vulcan.
The Vulcan.
That's the big one, Tony. We'll try to get that on
Uh,
in the future.
yeah,
So you can
But-
see one of those videos.
we'll talk about weapons later.
That's
when we get-
special.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
So, but yeah, so you sit up there and you'd be able to rotate around. The big thing why they stopped using those as much as possible is because they use those more in Iraq than Afghanistan. There's one, you didn't drive around a whole ton over there
right.
in Afghanistan, unless at least once you got to the base of the mountains, there's a lot of walking, or you do a lot of helicopter flying. Because and I mean, when I say helicopter flying, I mean you're barely skirting the mountains because you're at the ceiling of that flight, and those mountains are right there. I remember once there was we had a Chinook flying over the mountains, and he had a random insurgent just hanging out on top. I don't know if he's having his lunch or what, hanging on top of a mountain randomly. Take a pop shot at the Chinook, hit the pilot in the arm, exploded his arm.
Seriously?
Yeah, his arm was just. It looked like someone took a. Let's see. You ever dropped a balloon on the ground and it exploded up? That's what it looked like. His arm was.
Oh.
And so we come in. Him and the other pilot flew back, and the people on there put a quick dressing on there, a field dressing on there, and we come and we pull him off the Chinook. And he's just talking to us like nothing else is happening. And I'm like, dude,
that's part of the
he's
job.
like, no. He's like, no, you didn't give me nothing yet. I was like,
that's
dude,
what they do. They
your-
just
keep
I'm like,
going.
your arm is just like blown apart. And I'm like, hey,
Wow.
kudos to this guy. This guy was a tough son of a gun.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, I was just flying along. And next thing you know, the window exploded and I had a hole in my arm.
Cool under pressure.
Oh.
And it came up through the bottom windows. Came up through the bottom window. But yeah, it's like, yeah, random started to take a pop shot at us, and he got me this time. So, yep.
It's a really odd thing to switch to pizza after talking to that. I love talking about that. But I think we'll switch to pizza really fast. Check this out. Hitch and Post. STK.
Yeah.
Hey, welcome back. That was Hitch and Post Pizza. Valerie is amazing. If you are local in Estacada or you travel to Estacada, you want to stop by and definitely say hi at Hitch and Post Pizza. Hey, before we get started, I think you need to give a shout out to somebody, co-host.
Yes. I just want to shout out to our daughter, Amanda, that's watching in nursing school in Long Island, New York. Keep studying.
Woo! Go girl. All
She
right.
gonna watch the replay of this later, or is she?
Absolutely.
Co-host.
We need another day of programming, guys.
That was good, though.
No, co-host Joe, take it over, man.
Oh yeah, so sorry guys, I stepped out. I'm trying to fix these things as we go, but you know what? We're just gonna have another work day later. The amount of work that goes behind this, guys, is insane. We're talking, for everything you see on the screen, there's probably about 5 times that in work behind it to get things ready and stuff.
It happens, though.
Yeah, let's go for video 1, see what happens.
Video 1.
Oh, we already did this one.
Okay,
Video
that's
2 is what
cool.
we're looking for. And nope. Oh yeah, it's
Okay.
the buttons are screwed up somehow. They got misaligned or something. So we'll sort it out later.
Worth a shot.
Worth a shot.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It was cool because what you basically got to see is you got to see like I think the MRAP, was it MRAP or was it the Commando that was
I
flying
think
around?
the MRAP. Yeah.
Yeah, the MRAP was flying around a little bit, doing some driving on there. But you know what, guys, I will spend some extra time and lose a little sleep this weekend to make sure I don't let you guys down again.
You did not let
Did
us
not
down.
let us down.
Come on. What does the Band of Brothers do? Come on now. Okay. But,
You throw the other guy under the bus.
That one
no.
right there was
kidding.
one of our classes.
Yes.
And all you needed is just to put the airplanes on there.
yeah.
Tony.
Wow.
For the-
Actually, I found one of those too, but I'm like, I don't want to give the Air
Yeah,
Force
no,
any
I
sort
know.
of.
Well, and by the way, you know what, viewers? Next week, there's going to be a very exciting show. I'm not going to reveal it too much, but we were planning on doing that exciting show today. But things happen at the last minute, and we had to roll with it. No pun intended to our show today, but we had to roll with it. So that's actually the
we
reason why
we can give them a sneak peek.
Go ahead. I didn't want to say it before it was time. You do it.
If you've ever wanted to see or wonder what an MRE is, next week we will be going through MREs. And the best part is, I ordered them online, and they came as assorted. And so I tried to
I
get
will
some.
not take the assorted.
I tried to get some local, but it was hard. It was hard to get some because the people were out working and things. And so I went and ordered them in online to make sure we got them for sure next week. And it said assorted, so we don't know what's arriving, and we're not going to open it until we're on the show.
Oh!
And then we're going to figure out what 4 flavors we got, and we will eat them.
Okay,
Oh,
so
And we're-
Tony will have
Yes.
it.
Well, you know, that's the thing is we use it as a secret. We go like, oh, we're all going to eat them, right? And then we just hand the chicken a la king to Tony. We don't.
Oh, okay. I
the
will
chicken
know.
a la king. So when you hand it to me, I know it's a chicken a la king now.
Oh, you don't know. We could be
Well,
handing
it might be the, yeah.
It might be
all
the other
ones.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
The other
It might just say stew. on
It might just say stew.
With a
Surprise.
question, with a question mark.
Exactly.
They know I'll
Chicken,
eat anything, guys.
fish,
You know what? I didn't
beef,
serve, so I'm
rat.
serving right now. I'm going to take a hit for the team for you guys. All right.
Yeah, it's actually it's some of those aren't too bad. I mean,
No.
well, we're gonna show people how we use them and things, and
Yeah.
I'm gonna show the coffee ground trick.
Yep.
Ooh.
I don't know.
Does anybody know what that is if you're watching?
Well, let's just say if sometimes you don't always have a chance to make a nice cup of coffee,
Right.
and you have to keep moving. So there's another way to do it.
In an expeditious manner.
Will we
Yes.
have to wait till next week to find out?
Yes.
Dang.
I have an extra bottle of water for me because I don't like doing it anymore.
Oh.
Fire extinguisher. What?
What?
Oh, I wasn't even talking about that part.
What?
we did that too.
Ocean inspector. What?
Hey, what are you talking about? This is a fire safe location.
Family friendly show.
We
Notice
make sure
all
that
wood.
everything behind you is not really wood.
Yeah.
It's
Just wood
concrete
looking.
to look like wood.
Just wood looking, right? Yeah.
Wood looking, yes, I like that.
Yes.
Wood looking.
Yeah, wood looking.
That's already burned. You can't burn twice. It's
Okay.
not charcoal. I think they use that for something, right?
Yes.
So anyway, so that's for next week. But this week, man, we had some really cool pictures to show you. We got some out there.
Yes.
We're going to talk about the Humvees. We're going to talk about the MRAPs. We talked a little bit about the ambulance.
Yep.
We talked about, one of the things I got driving, I had a picture and one of the multiple pictures. And it was really interesting because for some reason, when I was younger, I was able to drive anything, no matter what it was. I figured out how to drive it. And it basically had like a diamond front, and it was a big like truck that hauled stuff.
Right.
And it had this really weird diamond front shape on the front of it. I don't know why it's shaped that way. But I'd never driven it before. And they're like, oh, we got to move this and stuff. Hey, look, can you get up there and move that for us? And they didn't ask me, hey, have you ever driven this before? Do you even know what it is? I'm like, okay. So get up there.
That was a common mission.
Yeah.
Hey, you go do it.
Yeah.
And guess what? Got in, I drove it, and I moved it, and we're good to go.
You moved it.
Yeah. And I remember the first time I ever drove a deuce and a half. I didn't even know about air brakes at the time. It was when I was driving the deuce and a half onto a train.
That's a 2.5-ton trunk, Tony.
Yeah, they think of
Big
my
one.
truck, but 10 times bigger. Well, not
Do
10
you
times
need
bigger,
your, here's the civilian question. Do you need your CDL for any of this?
No,
Or
you
is there
need
such
a
thing?
military license.
You just
I
have
take this obligation freely. That's your license.
That's your license.
Yes,
Gotcha.
pretty much.
Do it. Yep.
Yeah, they give you a paper license where you're supposed to go through training on it.
Right.
Sometimes the training is great, and sometimes the training is here. Read this when you get a chance.
And don't
Here's
hit
your
anything.
license.
And don't hit
I
anything.
remember when I got my first military license. It was, hey, have you ever driven a Humvee before? Yeah. I parked it over there. Okay, so we're gonna give you the Humvee. We're gonna give you this. 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 I got like 10 things on my license, and I'd never driven like all but one of them. I'm like, okay.
You know,
Like, what is this one?
But tell me they don't do the same thing with helicopters or airplanes, please.
That's, in their defense, guys I went to school with,
Yeah.
they went to school for 52 weeks.
Okay.
I mean,
To fly.
when I was a medic, we trained and learned about the ambulances out there. So giving me that one, that's
You
fine.
could.
It's basically
Right.
a Humvee with a big box on it. And then the Humvee, fine, you get different versions of those. That's good.
Right.
But what got me was the track APC on there that they had on there. I'm like, I've never driven one of those. I don't even know how to
No
do the
wheels.
maintenance on it.
No wheels?
Tracks.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, it's like, okay. And then I had deuce and a half on there as well. And I'd never driven that one either. I didn't. When I finally did drive one like a year later, I drove it up, and I was driving it onto the train, the back of a train.
Oh, okay.
And the deuce and a half and a train bed, they are about the same size. So you don't have any room for error. And then when you're crossing between the train cars, it's basically a couple pieces of wood that you're driving between these. And then you're driving it down all the train areas, all the way down this train. So you're crossing sometimes 20 of these vehicles, the train cars. And so when you're driving on the train car, not near as bad, but when you get to the crossing of it, you better not mess up because that thing's going down and it's taking you with it.
Yep.
And the first time I had to cross one, second time I had to cross one, it was above a bridge. And the bridge was an extra 20 feet down to the ground, plus the extra, was it like 5 or 6 feet up from the
Right.
side of the train car. Plus you're sitting at a deuce and a half. So for me to the ground was about maybe 2 or 3 stories high in the air.
20, 30 feet.
Yeah,
Wow.
easy. And so if I would have missed, it went off the side of that. Nice knowing you guys.
Nice knowing you.
And, and so I'd never driven a deuce and a half before, but I got it through. I survived it, and I knew how to drive a deuce and a half after that. So, yep. I learned about air brakes and one thing about deuce and a half is really cool. It has this little button on there. It will add or reduce air to your tires. So if you're going into like mud
Pretty
or
cool.
sand and things,
Wow.
click a button and it will lower the air pressure in your tires. So you
Like
can
on a
get back
beach,
up.
they get lower.
Yeah,
My goodness.
and then if you get back
So you
out, you
won't
hit
get
another
stuck.
button and it airs back
So
up.
you're not getting stuck.
Well, because you get soldiers in the back too,
Uh-huh.
and you and the TC are up front driving, and everybody else in the back.
And so the soldiers in the back, they don't have armor back there unless they like. So if you're in a bad situation and you're being shot at, they have like fabric and maybe a wood side.
They're kissing the floor.
Yeah, and if you prep for the area, you might have some sandbags. but that's about it.
Wow.
And I remember.
They've been around forever.
And you know what? Well, I remember when I used to ride in the back of those, like especially like for basic training or something like that, or AIT or whatever. They would take us places. The drivers of those vehicles, they like to hit every bump when they have soldiers in the back. It's like, I think it's something that comes into your head that says, I wonder how much I can mix these guys up before they get back to, because, well, when I was a driver, I did the same thing. It's just like it enters into your head immediately. It's, hey, there's a bump.
What enters into your head?
And the back of the
I'm going to hit the bump.
Hit the bump.
To make them.
I'm in the front.
in the back.
I'm not going to feel it.
Exactly. In the back is you're going.
Yeah.
Wow.
Got your gear on or between your yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, you're just trying to hold on for dear life.
Yeah.
God help you if there's equipment in the back.
Yep.
Oh
Exactly.
my goodness.
Yeah.
What do you think you're most excited? I mean, Joel, I've never seen, like our producer even said this, who's related to you, said it's really funny watching you and both of you really talk about these vehicles. You're like little kids in a candy store. Would you say? You say that?
Because we're in our 20s and they just let us. Here you go. Mm-hmm. Here's a good example right here.
Yeah.
Operating a tank. Okay. In a wet environment. First thing they teach us. Go around in the mud. See this monster pool of water.
Wow.
So you go into the bottom of it. When you feel as though you're hitting the bottom, you gun it. You don't go into it and go fast, because if you do, you're going to have a brown tidal wave coming up onto you and into the tank.
So you hit it. You
get to the bottom and then floor it. Just like a car.
Just hope that the water you're going into is not deeper than the tank.
Right, and a lot of times after training, you'll see who still had a green uniform on and who was brown.
And it was brown
from head to toe. So it was pretty easy. Okay,
Yeah.
fail. Everyone else passes.
Yeah,
That's just operating the tank.
Oh wow.
I remember
In
I
mud.
had to
Oh,
do
wow.
my research on the ambulance. My license expired after it expires every couple of years if you get a new military license. They actually did a research in a training for like night training and stuff. I remember I was out in Camp Withicum out here and by the beach. Not Withicum, I'm sorry, Camp Riley. Camp Withicum's over in Clackamas. So we were in Camp Riley out by the beach.
Okay, did you name Riley after
Yes,
Camp Riley?
actually
You did?
We did. We just changed the spelling slightly. It's actually where she got a name, no joke.
Wow.
And because it was a significant time in my life, I did a lot of training out there.
Wow.
And I was out there a lot. So we were driving in the back area there, and we were like way out in Timbuktu. And I don't think it was me that was driving. I think I was riding. I don't remember. I think I was riding actually. I think I was driving at the time. And the person driving, they backed the vehicle in a funky position and ended up breaking something on the vehicle, so it couldn't shift out of like first or second gear.
Oh.
And we're like way out there, and like it took. I think it took like 4 hours to drive the damn thing back. Yeah, and it was at night and everything else, and so yeah, I remember that one. It was a very long night to pull.
It's hard doing that.
Yeah, it was
During
supposed
the
to be like a
daytime.
45-minute drive
Exactly.
course, and now it's turned like a 4-hour course.
No sun.
Yeah, they had to get it back, and so they just drove it back in second gear or something the whole way. Second gear, probably. By the way, buddy, you see Nova? Maybe 10 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Okay, so I got to ask you the civilian question, you guys.
Yeah.
We're coming to the end, but I think you've explained this before, but what do you guys do when you have a vehicle that doesn't operate, breaks down, and you're in the middle of a mission? Do you all become mechanics, or how does that happen? You can't take it back to Jiffy Lube. You can't do that. What do you do?
It depends. Usually, if you're on a convoy, you have a wrecker. It's called a wrecker with you. It's like a big mechanic's truck with you that can haul and tow things and things like that. And that's usually in a convoy. If you're not in that type of convoy, you're in a different kind of movement, then you either fix what you can, or if you have to, I mean, if you're in a real dangerous zone, you'd actually probably set it on fire and remove any sensitive stuff and
So
move
the bad
on.
guys can't use it.
If it's in an area where you can wait, sometimes you might wait for wreckers to come and things, but It really just depends on what the situation is.
But in your convoy, you kind of already covered sort of all your bases, if you will.
Yeah, so usually when you do on a pre-movement op order, op plan, things like that, you determine what you can and can't have, and you know what you're going into. But it's also the responsibility of the driver and the TC to check that vehicle to make sure it's in good working condition. Not just a mechanic's job; it's your job too. You check, is your blinker fluid there and
Like
things
a
like that.
pilot would overlook his plane before, hopefully, but maybe not.
Make sure
I
you
see you laughing.
make sure
Yeah.
you definitely gotta make sure you got your ID 10 Tango form in place too. You want to make sure that's before you go. You sign that. So
Okay,
ID 10 Tango.
I need to tell
We've
you.
talked about this, Sonny.
Yeah.
Just want to bring up
ID 10 Tango.
While you're bringing that
ID
up,
IoT.
ID IoT. Did I say it wrong?
No, you got it right.
You got it right.
What's that spell, Tony?
Idiot. On that note, I'm going to have Jim close us today.
I love you, Tony.
After
You
he
are
does what
awesome.
he's going to do. It's always, you know what, guys? They told me that we had blinker fluid. There was such thing as blinker fluid.
I said that a second ago too.
Yeah, no.
Hey, you know what? The one thing actually that was really important is when remember when the MPs on the base, sometimes they would try to pull you over and you couldn't hear them because they forgot that you would tell them, hey, I didn't hear you because you forgot to change your siren fluid.
Siren fluid.
And
So he got a lot of tickets, is what he's saying.
Right.
I never got pulled over on the base.
Jim, why don't you do your thing and take us on out?
Yeah, I just wanted everyone to know here in a few days is National POW MIA Recognition Day on September 16th.
Yes.
The Defense POW MIA Accounting Agency reported at the 103rd American Legion National Convention in Milwaukee that in August, that from World War II to the present, 82,500 service members are still unaccounted for. The Legion remains committed to achieving to full accounting of all U.S. service members from all war eras who are either in prison or listed as missing in action. As part of this commitment, it encourages a return of living POWs, repatriation of the remains of the fallen from war zones abroad, or a determination through convincing evidence that neither is possible. So I just wanted to share that with everyone. It's a day of remembrance coming up.
Absolutely. We saw that on, if you're in Estacada, I saw that on Estacada all over the pages, so check that out.
Oh, and actually, don't mean to cut you off, but one other, the American Legion National Commander, who's now in charge of all the American Legion, visited Estacada last year and came out to our post, and we showed him the Veterans Memorial. Mm-hmm. We had our lunch at the Cazadero, and he just could not. He loved Estacada, very small town on the left coast.
On the left coast.
Not in the middle, not in the right coast. But now he's in charge, so he came out on his tour while he was getting ready to be national commander.
That's cool.
He lives in Maine.
Yeah.
Is he going to come back?
I hope so. It would be great to have him back.
Yeah. Did you invite him back out?
We had one newspaper article on him, and hopefully we can do another one for him.
All right.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, I'm going to pitch it right back to you. Close us out.
No, you get to close us out. Your turn.
Okay. That's all I got.
We put him on the spot.
Boom!
And I was told I don't speak. I speak the whole time, and then they want me to speak at the end.
Right. Well, you know what? It's that thing of, I do it on my terms. If I'm being made to do it, I draw blank. Totally makes sense.
Well, I mean, so when you're closing out, you want to talk about, hey, thank you everybody for joining us.
Okay.
Okay. And you want to say, don't forget to be back next week.
Come see us next week.
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock. Be there.
We're going to be doing something special. We're going to be telling the MREs, right?
Food.
Yep, MREs. We don't know what they are. Food. Well,
Producers laughing.
I wouldn't give it that much of a. Tony's dying over here.
Yeah.
And we'll say.
Chicken a la
We'll
King
say. We'll
Tony.
see. You end with. We'll see you next time, right?
Brandy soap.
Oh yeah, and then you might want to show up for Brandy Show tomorrow.
Yeah.
No, 7 p.m. tomorrow. Campfire discussions. We will see you then. Thank you, everybody. Tony, you want to say goodbye to wave?
All right.
Goodbye to all the people.
Goodbye, you guys. Don't forget, next week, though, for Ranger Games, this will be a fun show. You will
No
not
tech
want to miss.
issues next week.
And you know what? We give our producer a big round of applause, including also Joel, who makes this happen, and is also Jen,
And
who
Tony.
makes this happen. So, you guys, you're loved. You're loved. Come back next week. We'll see you then.